MPs include elect by 413 to 202, a most of 211, for Main Secretary Theresa May to ask the EU for a latency to Brexit. It tool the UK may not now keep on March 29 as previous plan. Mrs May says Brexit could be detained by 3 months, to June 30, if MPs behind her transactions in a voice following 1 week. If they deny her transactions once again later, she says she will search a much longer expansion, but any latency has to be coordinated by the 27 some EU term state. Largest prudent MPs elect versus delay Brexit, consisting 7 office members, importance Mrs May had to trust on Labour and some opposition votes to get it via. But several Labour frontbenchers obedient to challenge side orders to refrain on a voice on keeping else plebiscite. Dark Habitation Secretary Yvonne Favarg, Dark Formation Secretary Emma Lewelbuck, Dark Industry Secretary Justin Matters, Ruth Smith, a Dark Government Assistant, and Labour stick Stephanie Peafowl, all abandoned their roles to contrast a Theresa May, who has length insisted how the UK will keep the EU on March 29 in or out of a departure transactions, elect to latency Brexit. She had been constrained to propose MPs a voice on delay Brexit following they discarded her departure treaty by a big profit, for a other period, and later elect to deny a not deal Brexit. She has alerted how widening the leaving day for 3 months could damage confidence in democratic state, and indicate how the UK would include to get portion in May's Europe Parliament elections. Happy modernize your web browser to type the online a postal code, or the behalf or electoral district of your MP. Downing Road told by the government was yet preparation for a not deal Brexit. Theresa May is planner to conduct else significant voice on her departure transactions by environment, following it was extraordinarily discarded on 2 early occasions. If she wins how voice, she will ask for a off expansion to Brexit get the required law via Parliament at an EU summit conference on Thursday. If not, she could ask for a much longer expansion. A representative for the Europe Committee told Widening Paper 50, the arrangement take the UK out of the EU on March 29, would requirement the unanimous treaty of all EU term state. And it would be for the leaders of those state to believe such a query, give her precedence to the requirement to provide the operating of the EU institutions and take in expense the reasons for and length of a probable expansion. It is yet formally probable how we could keep the EU at the end of the monthly, the law has not modified. But politically it is now nearly completely out of achieve. The Main Secretary is receiving she will miss one of the largest targets she has always set by herself. This evening's voice is uncomfortable for else cause, as it once again displays the Conservative Party basic divisions. The is more than rather than a strife amongst friends, but aside how is break downward the medium on one of the largest urgent questions the authority has delivered, in office ministers, as so as backbench Brexiters, pad up to diverge in Theresa May. Downing Road told there was a nature impact of Mrs May's judgment to propose a complementary voice on an question wherever down there are powerful view on all sides of the discussion. Head Secretariat to the Exchequer Liz Farm tweeted, I elect versus a latency to Brexit. As a latency was gone by Parliament, I wish to see transactions coordinated ASAP so we can minimize to brief, engineering, expansion. 7 office ministers, MS Farm, Brexit Secretariat Stephen Barclay, World Trading Secretariat Liam Lissa, World Growth Secretariat Penny Mordaunt, House of Commons lead Andrea Leadsom, Transportation Secretariat Chris Umber and Defence Secretariat Gavin Williamson, elect versus the by the government movement. Public Health Secretariat Matthew Signature told it would be very hard but yet probable to supply Brexit on March 29 in a transactions. He told Down there were now 2 options, to voice for the transactions and keep in neat way or a length latency, and I believe how would be a calamity. MPs over discarded and try to save else Brexit plebiscite by 334 votes to 85. And they as well discarded a crucifix party schedule to enable MPs to get monitoring of the Brexit trial to conduct a episode of votes on the following stairs, by the tight profit of 2 votes. Next the votes, Labour lead Jeremy Corbyn repeated his supporting for a future plebiscite following order his MPs not to voice for a. He told, "Present I repeat my belief how a transactions can be coordinated relying on our option schedule, how can teams supporting through the building. I as well repeat our supporting for a human being's voice, not as a policy spot scoring workout but as a lifelike stock option to break down the impasse." Labour abstained while MPs elect on the plebiscite suggestion, tabled by freelance team MP Sarah Wollaston, disputing how now was not the order period to shove for a social voice. But 17 Labour MPs defied side orders and elect to contrast else plebiscite. Time 24 Labour MPs rebelled to voice in favour of a amongst frontbenchers to abandon above the question. MSP Fowle told, "It is in profound pity I this evening obedient of Labour's frontline seat, since I trust we should honour the outcome of the 2016 voice to keep the Europe Association." Labour's schedule to latency Brexit to enable Parliament period for MPs to discover a most for a various attitude was conquered by 318 to 302 votes.